an exciting time at UMS. We've got the 100th anniversary of Hill Auditorium coming up. We've got a bicentennial of the University of Michigan around the corner. What a great time to be thinking about who we are and what we do. And as we've done that, we thought of ourselves less as a presenter of performances and more of a provider of great experiences. And whether that's the experience of the concert hall or the classroom or online, you have to be present. And we have a very exciting season to tell you about. Wow, the Choral Union series, I mean, it's one of the oldest in the country. It's one of the most distinctive. And here it is in a very small town in the Midwest. We're able to bring the greatest soloists, the greatest ensembles in the world to our community. And that's what we've been doing for 134 years.
Well, it goes without saying that the special thing about this year's Choral Union series is that the hall in which this series has taken place in for the last 100 years is celebrating a big birthday. It's centenary. One of the really cool things about Hill Auditorium that we don't always get to experience is the effect of the organ. And it's, as we were thinking about all of the things we wanted to touch on, it was clear that we had to do something that really showcased that instrument. And we asked Leonard Slatkin of the Detroit Symphony and the folks at the Detroit Symphony if they'd be willing to work on a concert together that really just showed it off. Ironically, in this 100th birthday year of Hill Auditorium, both Verdi and Wagner are celebrating 200th anniversaries of their birth. And both composers will figure into our season. The very first note that folks hear in the Choral Union series will be the Chicago Symphony and Riccardo Muti performing Wagner's Overture to the Flying Dutchman. And then at some point in the course of the season, we'll do a big community sing of Verdi's Requiem. A piece that, by the way, was performed on the second night that Hill Auditorium was open to the public. Certainly one of the artists that comes to mind that I'm particularly excited about is a debut by a phenomenal trumpet artist named Alison Balsam. She is rocking the brass world and really in many ways is one of the first major female concert artists on trumpet. And her performance is going to be transcriptions of many different Baroque concertos, virtuosic concertos for violin, oboe, that she plays on the trumpet. It's really, really great. And I guess one of the other reasons I'm really excited about it is that people don't know her. So it capitalizes on that moment of surprise. Wanted to feature the work of women dance makers more. The last couple of seasons, just through happenstance, have been focused a bit more on the guys. And so I thought it would be really nice if we could really focus in a little bit more on important women dance makers.
I saw Aspen Santa Fe Ballet last spring in Chicago at the Harris Theater. The company really reminds me of one of my personal favorite companies and one of UMass's favorite companies, Hubbard Street Dance Chicago. The company performs a mixed repertoire by several different choreographers. So I always get really excited to see, one program by one company, but with multiple pieces by different choreographers in one evening. And they really fall on the spectrum of, ballet to contemporary dance. Hubbard Street, I would say, goes closer to contemporary dance, though they are ballet trained. Aspen Santa Fe really goes a little bit closer to ballet. We at UMS have been following Ragamala for quite some time now. The company is led by Ronnie and Aparna Ramaswamy, who are a mother and daughter team. So they're both co-artistic directors of the company. And this piece specifically, Sacred Earth, I think will be really wonderful, especially in the Power Center, because it really connects so many different mediums together. Not only do we see the beautiful choreography of the Indian Bharatanatyam tradition, but it is performed with live musicians, so it'll be really cool to see all of those elements together on stage for a really beautiful and colorful piece of dance.
Another artist that we're so excited about introducing to our audiences this year is an ensemble called Kid Pivot. And the dance maker's name is Crystal Pite.
She has, in a lot of her recent works, she's been playing with the idea of puppetry and using the human body to act like a puppet. And her choreography really plays a lot of mind games with you. Her pieces often really, I think, hover the border between dance and theater, where not only do they involve movement, vocabulary, choreography, but really interesting set design, video elements, original music, text. So it really kind of goes into the world of theater while you are also seeing dance.
Chamber music, is the most intimate of musical forms. You've got these wonderful artists who themselves have to be superb in what they do, but then they need to listen to each other and they need to be an ensemble. It's an enormously democratic form, and that we can see this at its best is what the chamber music series at UMS is all about.
As part of this Chamber Art Series in the 50th anniversary year, I'm really excited about everyone that's coming, but there are a few artists that stand out. The Jerusalem Quartet I've really fallen in love with. This will be their 4th time here. Again, it's a group that we've watched grow up. They were very young when they were first here and showed so much promise, and they have come into their own. The sound, this very mature sound, really full, plush. So I'm really excited for them to open the series. And I'm really excited about the Berlin Philharmonic Wind Quintet coming back. They're such great musicians, and we've paired them with our own Martin Katz, who's on the faculty of the School of Music. Our audiences know Martin very well. He's an internationally distinguished collaborative pianist who'll be joining them to perform the Poulenc Sextet for winds and piano. So it's always nice to be able to make that kind of connection as well. And very excited again to invite right back the New Century Chamber Orchestra with their music director and violinist Nadja Salerno-Sonnenberg. We gave them a debut 2 seasons ago. They brought down the house. I think it was standing ovation at intermission, if I'm not mistaken. And one of the things that they're doing, I know, is a new work that Bill Bolcom of Ann Arbor was commissioned to write for them, so they'll be featuring that on this program. Always interested in balancing canonical works, works that are generally recognized as making up the core of the literature and the history of the theater, and balance that up with new ideas, either original work, original creative work, or experimentation. And all of that is represented in this coming 2012-2013 International Theater Series. The season opens with a production straight from Paris that was produced at Théâtre de la Ville of Ionesco's Les Narceauses. And this is a canonical work by a very important author and thinker about the theater in the 20th century. So that, I think, will really surprise people when they walk into the Power Center and see it. Stage design and the set is really unusual. I'll leave it at that.
Next season, UMS is really pushing its theater in some new and unexpected directions. We're going to be going off-site for a couple of things that I'm really excited about off-site outside of our normal venues. One piece I'm very excited about is a show called The Strange Undoing of Prudencia Hart by the National Theatre of Scotland. The Strange Undoing of Prudencia Hart takes place actually in a pub. We are bringing the show to the Corner Brewery in Ypsilanti.
Why do you have to be so yobbish?
Why do you have to be so snobbish? Prudencia, we're not going anywhere tonight.
The show is a really small cast of 5 actor-musicians, and it kind of tells the story of this buttoned-up academic who's headed off into a snowy night to this conference about border ballads, and she sort of loosens up along the way on this trip, and it's a really kind of fun story how that happens.
We're happy to also have back, as quickly as possible, Propeller from the UK, which we introduced to audiences last year, and they're going to again present a repertory week of Shakespeare, 2 Shakespeare comedies, Twelfth Night and Taming of the Shrew. And that, I'm sure, just given the success that they had here last year, is going to really get people excited.
But out of question, 'tis Mariah's hand. And now I do bethink me, it was she first told me that I was mad.
Another company I'm really looking forward to having next season is 1927. It's the name of the company, and it's a piece called The Animals and Children Took to the Streets. 1927 is an English company, and they do a really interesting mix of work that combines performance, animation, and music. This piece in particular is somewhere between a silent film and a graphic novel come to life. It's one of the best things I've ever seen.
For me, jazz music really is all about the individual's life coming out through the music. It's the story of their experiences, their upbringing, their relationships, their loves, and their sorrows through the power of improvisation. This December, we'll be featuring a unique billing at Hill Auditorium with the great Diane Reeves, the beautiful Diane Reeves, and her quartet, with a very special guest, Raul Midon. Raul brings this incredible harmonic sensibility to the music. He's a real force to be reckoned with, and I think we'll be hearing a lot more about Raul Midon down the road. The rest of the events in the 19th annual UMS Jazz Series also celebrates the 100th season in Hill Auditorium. We cannot have a Hill 100 without the presence of the great Wynton Marsalis and Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra. There is an effortless and virtuosity to Wynton's playing that is rarely matched, whether in Western European classical traditions or in the jazz idiom. A very special concert on this 19th annual jazz series is actually going to be a self-produced concert that will be exclusive to Ann Arbor and our audiences. A celebration of the unique artistry and improvisational history from Detroit. We're calling it From Cass Quarter to the World. Many cities have had a golden age in music, but it always seems that Detroit's golden age has never died. It continues, it evolves. From the improvisational history in the 50s and 60s coming out of places like Cass Tech and the Black Churches, through the Motown and the songwriting era of the 60s, and into modern day R&B and contemporary hip hop. There is this lineage that all comes back to something very special in Detroit. We're going to work closely with music director and pianist Jerry Allen, who's on the faculty at the UM School of Music, Theater, and Dance. She's a Cass Technical High School alum, and there's really no one better to collaborate with on this project to tell this story.
This is a celebration of Hill Auditorium, 100 years of Hill Auditorium this year. And what we decided to do was take a little bit of a different approach. For the last 8 years, we've focused in a cyclical fashion on 4 different areas of the world. And instead of drilling down on one area this year, we wanted to look at what we've done in the last 8 years and invite back a lot of the best moments to Hill Auditorium to help us celebrate.
As part of the 2012-13 UMS Global Series, it was integral to our mission to present a concert from the Arab world. We're very pleased to be able to bring the fantastic Hamid Al-Saadi and his Iraqi Maqam Ensemble to Hill Auditorium. Hamid is one of the world's most special Maqam exponents, being able to perform the entire Baghdadi repertoire. Almost as a foil to this centuries-old Maqam tradition, Amir El-Safar is bringing his Two Rivers Ensemble, which attempts and successfully reconciles some of the aesthetic differences between the jazz tradition and the Makam. There are few spokespersons from around the world who represent their country as honorably as Gilberto Gil, someone who actually served as the Minister of Culture for the country of Brazil. Gilberto Gil not only brings a very special approach to playing the guitar, especially the acoustic guitar. He's a masterful technician, but also is a masterful vocalist with almost unbridled enthusiasm. He is someone who almost can communicate to anybody and almost brings a childlike energy and spontaneity to the stage that really puts him in the very top tier of global musicians.
E a légua manda tudo pro matagal. Calma, que a nossa lambreta, jumenta porreta, já anda espolenta demais. São João Carneirinho, que é mais devagarinho, de mansinho. Nós vamos chegar em paz na festa. Festa, festa na festa.
Once autumn's glow has gone away, and gray cotton clouds like lousy days, you're the winter sun. Winter sun, winter sun. Lost their crunch and turned to confetti, brown and orange. I know soon you'll come take the whip of the wind, and baby, make it branches with warmth and light. When tired bones tremble from the cold, one kiss of your warmth heals the soul. Shine with the sun, make this cold heart whole.
Here at UMS, we want to thank you for being a part of all that we do, whether it's through your generous gifts, your presence at our concerts, your online activity. We deeply appreciate your participation with us. We would not exist if it were not for your enthusiasm, your passion, and your commitment to witness things in person. We feel a great sense of responsibility and deep humility to make sure that we're bringing you a groundbreaking season. We can't wait to begin, and we hope you'll be there with us.
trip.